Hey everyone, don't worry, I'm coming. This is episode 6 here on the new channel. I need a new name for this channel. The current one is a placeholder, so if you got any ideas, let me know. So before we jump into this video, the kind of motivation behind it is a lot of people are asking me, how do you know how to do all this stuff to these houses? Where are you buying them? Basically, everybody asks me everything about kind of like what I think they feel like they don't know, or their limitations, like they don't have certain tools, they don't have certain skills. If I knew how to do all the stuff you're doing, I'd be doing it too, that kind of thing. Just all these things that I think of, and some people are just like kind of complimenting me when they do it, but I think a lot of people also are saying it like they can't do something because they don't have something that I have, whether that's knowledge or just whatever it is. So I want to address that. I think the majority, let me pick one word, mental. I think that mental and then endure. I think those two words are probably the most important thing, and then do it on this board. And I picked the word pizzazz for episode 6 here on the whiteboard. And pizzazz, when I thought of that word, I was like trying to think of a word that would kind of like define, what is it you need to be a person who can kind of get through certain stuff, stick to things. So it's like a whole bunch of things, and I'm like, what word kind of sums that up in my head? And pizzazz came up, and I was like, do I even really know what pizzazz means? So I looked it up, and vitality came up. And then they kind of like explained the word vitality in reference to this word, and it was power to endure. And I was like, that's it. Power, I like that. You got this internal power going on, and that is to endure, because most things are not easy. Even when it's made into a YouTube video and there's funny music and I say something that's semi-humorous and it's edited together, the reality of what I'm doing when you watch those videos, it's a long day. It is about 90-some degrees, about as humid as it can get without raining inside. Wasps stinging me, ticks biting me, snakes going across my hand. I mean, it's endless. It's, I get hurt. I've fallen off ladders. On the $12,000 house, there's multiple things happened to me I never mentioned. I fell through the roof in that video. When I was working on the roof, there was a section of plywood that had been patched. I went straight through that sucker. Luckily, I caught the rafter on my ribs, and it kept me from going all the way. I have fallen off ladders. I've fallen through from attics through the ceiling into the floor. I've had all kinds of stuff happening, so it's not all just some my life is not a YouTube video, basically. And I've addressed that in another video, that most things it's just hard work, expensive, not fun, and boring. That's what a lot of it is. At the same time, I'm enjoying it, even though it's not always enjoyable. And that's a weird thing, I think, to understand. And I think as a new parent, I can kind of understand that and reference that to having a family now. It can be at times one of the most enjoyable, unenjoyable things you'll ever do. And it's hard to explain it. How hard and one-sided something like that can be. But then you can get so much out of it at the same time. And that is the way I think a lot of this type of stuff is. And it comes from discipline, even though I'm the most undisciplined person probably involved in watching my videos. But I think it all has to come from, it's some sort of a mental thing. It's not physical. There's people in wheelchairs. There's people without arms and legs. There's people who have all kinds of physical aspects wrong with them, but they can be so mentally strong and so much better off than another person who's just got it all. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, they're going, I know exactly the kind of person you're talking about. So I think everything's a combination of these two things, but it's more this one. So in power to endure, I don't know how it happened exactly, but I ended up to physical and mental vigor. And then I was just like, that is a good one. Because you need, for what I'm doing exactly, I need both of these things. I've got to have, a good physical condition. But more importantly, is you got to have this mental thing. It's like a person. You can have an extreme athlete or a person with an athletic body, but if they don't have that mental endurance, you're just not going to get through stuff. This is the hardest part. When I work on some project, it takes me a year and a half. I can do it. I could get up and go there every day, no problem. People go to work every day, easy. But I'm going to work every day, and I'm not getting paid to be there. Now, I make my videos, and I make some money off that, but that's nothing compared to a working man's income. So when I'm working on those houses, I get paid $0, and it's actually, really it's kind of a missed opportunity to be working, so it's costing you money. I'm spending a lot of money. I've got to have this mental vigor, endurance, or whatever you want to call it to get through that type of thing. I'm not trying to make anything I'm doing sound any more special than it is, more so than just say the mental aspect. I just say psychological. My father-in-law is a big horseshoe player, and then he makes horseshoe references to kind of everything, basically. And one of his things is he's always saying psychological. He just says that anything pretty much that happens, he says it's psychological, meaning that it's not a matter of doing it or not doing it. It's just somebody's got something in their head, and that's the thing that's holding them back. They've gotten screwy, basically. So when I saw this, I really liked it. And then I looked up the word vigor. I was like, well, what does vigor really mean? I mean, I think of vigor as like, you do something vigorously. And then so that's basically what it is. It just said intensity of action. Like, so, I just defined vigor by saying vigorously. But I think, like, there's a lot of words like that where you've got, this word as a form of that word, but then, like, it's hard to define the one word, but you know what it means if you hear the other one. And I think that's like, if I shake something, I can shake it vigorously, So that is basically what I just did. It's intensity of action. So I really liked that when I saw that. It was just like I was clicking on stuff and I go, oh! And so that was like a good little path. It is on the internet. Normally, it's you start off on one thing. The other day, I was looking at how to fix something in a house, and like in 2 minutes later, I'm watching police canines taking people down and chewing them and barking at them. I don't even know how it happened. So this is one of those times on the internet where it just kind of flowed naturally to the right thing. I wasn't watching dog attacks within 1 minute. And so intensity of action, I think, really is, this is the first part, getting your mind right, and then it's this part. You have to do this. And when this definition came up, it made me think of this right here, which is something I say to people a lot. People ask me about stuff and they want to read all the books. They want to, who do you listen to? What websites are you getting information from? And all this kind of stuff. And what podcasts, what books, what audiobooks, who are your mentors, all that kind of stuff. And all that is important. But it comes down to this. You can't just talk about it. And we can think of that as you can't just think about it too. Don't just talk about it, do it. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. At some point, you just got to do it. It's as simple as that. A lot of people too, they'll go buy all the books, buy all the courses, go to conventions. They do everything. And then they just don't ever seem to actually just do the thing. Some of the most successful people that I know they never went to school for stuff. They never did anything. They just rolled their sleeves up and did something. And I think that it's not going to work for everybody. Some people really have to know because they got the kind of brain that's just, there's got to be a spreadsheet involved. But for me, and I think a lot of people, the advantage is sort of the on-job training. It's kind of like a person who goes to college to be a whatever, and then a guy who just goes and gets a job somewhere and gets on-job training. And then the person from school graduates and realizes how little they know about something, whereas the guy who just got the on-job training, he was getting paid right off the bat. He learned exactly what he's going to end up needing to know and starts doing it. His income goes up. I'm not downplaying school. I think school's a great thing. I went to kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, graduated, went to college, graduated. The diploma's rolled up in my parents' attic. I have used my resume one time after I got out of school. I did what you would sort of call an internship or residency type thing with the work that I do, and on the art side of things. And that was fun. But other than that, I never went to school intending to kind of use my degree directly. It wasn't sort of a pass to do something for me. I just wanted the experience of what it was I went to school for. And why am I talking about that? I know why. If you spend all your time reading books, if you spend all your time, after you read those books, it's what do a lot of people do? They get excited about a thing. They just start jabbering about it, 100 miles an hour. And I think what happens is you burn up all of your, you burn up all your pizzazz talking about it. You burn it all up in theory. You don't actually burn it all up, kind of practicing it. So you went and got your engines all revved up, and then you just sit there jabbering. And I know I'm jabbering, but I'm putting it all to work too. I'm trying to tell people basically to just not worry about everything you don't know, because there's always going to be something you don't know. A lot of people on these videos and me working on these houses, they want to do the same stuff that I'm doing, but they haven't started yet. So they're watching these videos from the perspective of thinking that I am where they want to be. And they're like, that he knows what I need to know. He's doing what I want to do. They're focused on that. But I'm doing the exact same thing. Y'all are behind me looking at my back going, I want to be where he's at. And then you can't see me looking forward going, I want to be where he's at. It goes all the way up, and everybody's got their different motivations. Somebody would hear that and just go, he's just a greedy, money-grubbing SOB. But that's not true. I mean, I'm just having a good time. I'm doing something that I don't find harmful to anybody. Most of it is all done on my own. I'm trying to offer something back with the videos that I make. It's at this point it's become more about my family and future stuff than any temporary, thing going on right now, basically. Any kind of immediate stuff that I might want and so on. And so everybody's got their different reasons. That's not what the topic of this video is about, but that is one good thing to kind of consider is why is it you really want to be doing something? You don't just want money. It's something that money is doing for you that you want, whether that be the security of having it, the fear of not having it. You want the Lamborghini, you want the big house, you might just want your own house, and you might use some of this stuff to get to the point where you can own your house without owing money on it. Everybody's got their different reasons. There's nothing wrong with any of it. In the end, we're all just ants in the scheme of things, whirling around. The time we're here on Earth is meaningless. It's just such a fraction, a blink of an eye. If you cosmically speaking, if you haven't seen that picture, what's it called? The blue dot. It's a picture of the Earth out on that band of light. It's just one of those pictures, or it's like when that astronaut, whichever one it was, said when he looked back at Earth, and he just said it was basically mind-bending to look back on Earth and just to see just a little blue circle with some clouds, basically, and you can kind of see some land, and to know that every reference that man and all of mankind has comes from something that looks that big, basically. It makes you realize how small you are, and I think that is an important thing to keep in mind. I get hung up on a lot of stuff, but keeping that in mind, when you think about it, it makes you realize that you should not be worried about what other people are doing, what other people think. Now, of course, that is not like the opening to something like the movie Fight Club, where you can just go cause a bunch of problems, but I'm just talking about in your own life, not letting a bunch of stuff that's not a big deal convince you that it's a big deal and hold you back. I've said it many, many, many times. Most people that are having problems are their own worst enemy. It's not other people putting you in that situation, because you can't let other people have that power over you. And it was this other thing that I heard, and I don't know what it came out of, but the big thing, the message of it was, if you've got somebody who is doing or done something to you that think has held you back, and all you want to do is point fingers and try to change that situation, you're not going to change that person. That person doesn't give a hoot about you. But what you do have power is you have power over yourself. Whether that's just to change your mind about what you think about what it is that they're doing, get away from the situation, whatever it is. You have to, basically, it's all about, I guess, personal responsibility. So that is way off topic, but related, I guess, I hope. I'll always come back to this, it seems like. Nike got it right. I wish I could buy that from them, but I'm sure it costs more than one of my cheap houses to buy their trademark Just Do It comment. I need to put a little R under that. Let's see. I don't have the word. No, I do. Just Do It. Tricky. But I think that's probably as far as we need to go. I would break this board down into two things. Get your mind to where you have some motivation, a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of endurance. Don't get hung up on stuff. Once you kind of can get to that point, just do it. You got to take action and make happen what it is that you want to have happen. That's a good word too. Be intense about it. Doesn't mean you have to, go up to somebody breathing heavy, tell them your ideas, but just go at something. And if you really go at something, one thing you can do is just an experiment. And I've done this before. I've gone just for a week. I'm not talking about doing a life-changing thing, but just for a week. You're going to get up at this time. You're going to work your you-know-what off all day long, and then you're just going to repeat it. One of the best times I ever did it is when I said that I wasn't going to look at anything on the internet for 1 month other than doing my videos and like responding to comments. I did not go to any other websites. I did not watch anything on TV, anything, on YouTube, any kind of entertainment. I did not use the internet in any kind of entertaining way whatsoever. It was like within like the first day or two, I felt like somebody coming off of crack. And then after that, I just kind of it wasn't that big of a deal. And then after a while, I would kind of forget about it a little bit, and I'd find myself looking something up. But in general, it was a big deal to do it. And it was just basically all it turned into is all that stuff was just a distraction, and my focus just became better. So that's one thing that I would maybe suggest to people. And it was funny, I mentioned that in the video a long time ago that I was going to do that, and somebody got mad at me saying, keep all your BS to yourself. We don't need to see that. We're here to watch houses get fixed. Which is pretty funny. Again, I always do come back to the fact I know people talk about their valuable time as viewers, and I agree with it. I'm very thankful. But this is optional. This isn't, I didn't charge for this. You can go and watch someone else's videos. I've never been one of these people, I think, that bow to the subscriber and, worry too much about what someone thinks. Because if they're a person who gets offended by what I'm doing, they're just not the viewer for me. And I think that is probably a good way to, go through your life. If you've got people in your life, if you're living a good, clean life, and you've got people that are just constantly giving you crap, or you don't feel yourself in front of them and all that kind of stuff, they're just somebody you shouldn't be around. Now that's coming from a guy who doesn't have a lot of friends. But I don't have a lot of friends not because I'm a jerk, but just because of the stuff that I do. I'm busy, I don't want to get distracted, and so forth. So I have a handful of friends, and I think they are all mostly what I would call situational friends. I've got friends that I do specific stuff with, but not like friends that just come over to my house and hang out and we giggle over things, So I'm just not that kind of person. Other people are, and that's great. Sometimes I wish I was, but usually when I get a taste of it, I go, it's not for me. I think that's it. Pizzazz, get your mind right, just do it. That's it. As far as the links below, I've got links below. Check them out. I don't need to go over them all. My other channels, for those of you who are watching something like this for the first time, Homemade Home, Renovate Houses. Then I've got another channel called The Homestead Craftsman. I haven't posted on there in a while. I need to. That channel's also got some size to it, about 120,000 subscribers, I think. A lot of videos. I'm down in my wood shop right now, videos from down in here in my basement, making tables, other furniture, projects, whatnot. Milling, lumber, all that kind of stuff. If you're interested in that. I know it's not related to this channel, but it kind of all is related to the lifestyle that I'm living, which is all related for me, I guess. Thank you for watching. Look into other people too. Please don't just watch my videos because you're coming over from the other channel thinking I've got all the answers for you. Get a balanced kind of take from multiple people, and not just online. Try to find people in real life, a real mentor, somebody that you can kind of work with, even if it's free, just to get some experience. Just don't hold yourself back. Get out there, take some action, make it happen. Thanks for watching.